Hello there. I'm just getting set up. I thought I would do the setup while I was waiting for some of you guys to join. I haven't done a video for a while, as you probably know. I'm sure I don't have to tell you. I'm sure I've said this before too, but my stand has seen better days. I've just found a bit of cardboard and I'm going to try to lift this up a little bit. No, that's not going to work. Don't want to lift it too high. Because then you probably won't be able to see. You'll just be looking at the wall. But it's too low. It won't, the screw, the holder that holds the, what do you call it? The bit that holds, there's a ball joint and there's a screw that tightens onto it. I think I've stripped the, the thread. Hi Jude, how are you? It's so good to see you. It's been a while, hasn't it? Oh dear, I'm just going to take a drink. Jude, excuse me. It's been a day. I can hear a buzzing behind me. It's like a bzz. I'm a bit paranoid because Willow and I had a bit of a dreadful night. I'll just say that I spent the majority of the night on the toilet. And then when I got up this morning, it looks like Willow had the same issue. I then proceeded to spend the next 4 hours cleaning, scrubbing the carpets, and I can still smell it. It's driving me bananas. And as you can imagine, as a result of that, there were blowflies hanging around initially, and I'm still paranoid that there's still blowflies around. But it's not, it's actually a bumblebee. Or a teddy bear bumblebee. Like it's a real one, there's real fluffy. It's so cute. It's coming up here right beside me. I'm just looking over my shoulder, sorry. I can just hear him. He's moved further away now. Anyway, I've had a request to show how I listed this. As some of you are aware, I'm trying to clean out all my stuff. I'm getting ready to move. As yet, I still don't know when this move is going to be. I'm really hoping it's going to be sooner rather than later because things are getting really challenging here. I'm really struggling to look after this property. My health isn't the best at the moment. I've went and saw a neurologist last week and it turns out I've been having seizures. And to put it quite simply, it looks like the seizures have been brought on by stress. So I'm on an anti-seizure medication, which is doing all sorts of fabulous things to my body. And one of the biggest things is, and he told me this, he told me I'd get brain fog. I've got brain fog already. I have fibromyalgia. I have other issues going on. And I actually said to him, oh, it can't get any worse than it is already. Oh my goodness, it has gotten worse. I didn't think it could get worse. You know what I did yesterday? This gives you an example. I was making a cup of coffee, okay? And, had my coffee cup. And occasionally I like to put a bit of caramel syrup in my coffee of a morning. I don't do it often because it's a massive amount of sugar and it's not good for me and I'm desperately trying to lose weight. But I decided I wanted to have caramel syrup, okay? So I got the syrup out of the cupboard. I had the jar of coffee. The kettle's over here, and the kettle's one that was gifted to me recently because my kettle a couple of weeks ago zapped me and threw me across the kitchen. That's another thing. It's just been one flipping thing after another. I'm so over it. Anyway, I was gifted this kettle, and you know, it's got a base, and you lift it off and you fill it up and you put it on. So I'd taken the kettle off. I don't know why the kettle wasn't on the base, but I put the syrup in the cup. I put the coffee in the cup. Put the lid back on the syrup. No, sorry, I didn't put the syrup in the cup. What I did, I put the syrup in the measuring thing and then proceeded to tip the syrup into the coffee jar full of coffee. Well, it's not full of coffee, it's nearly empty. I was aware of what I was doing. Like, my brain's going, this doesn't go here. But I still went to do it. I'm like, what on earth? And then I picked up the caramel syrup to put back in the cupboard, and I'm trying to sit it on the flippin' base where the kettle goes. Far out, man. That's just one example I've experienced in the last week since being on this anti-seizure medication. So anyway, let's get back to business, hey. I've been trying to, I listed this to destash, and it's meant to be a crocheted, it's hard to fit into the screen, isn't it? It's meant to be a crocheted basket. I started this a while ago. Obviously I haven't completed it. I deliberately left these tags. I like the shaggy, taggy bit hanging out. I was thinking earlier today, there's some noise. I've actually been waiting most of the day to do this because there's been so much noise next door. I haven't been able to do it. Anyway, the sun's going down, so hopefully I can fit this in time. But I was thinking I should do it in parts and do choosing the fabric, getting it all ready, putting it all together, like putting the fabrics together, getting them ready to construct, doing all sections. But I decided to do it like this because I like, sorry, I'm just looking at the messages again, guys. I want to be able to see them. I want to see all messages. Okay. Oh, you rotter. Sometimes it'll let me, I've got to just click on something so I can keep seeing them. Oh, go away, yous. Yeah, I think I've got them. I can see a couple, but... Oh, okay, I've got them now. Okay, guys, so the reason I decided to do a live again is because I think it's good when we all interact. So instead of me just doing separate tutorials like part 1, part 2, part 3, etc., I quite like it when we all interact. Even though half the time I can't see what you're saying, that's my bad. I still quite like it when you guys interact. So I thought I'd do a live again. Anyway, I've had a request through the week to do a tutorial on how I do these baskets. When I was setting up for this earlier today, I very quickly remembered why I haven't finished this, but I will get to that later. See this bit, this tab here? I actually like it all to be on the outside. It's just personal preference. I like the shaggy bit on the outside, so I'm just going to thread that through. There we go. Now it's sticking out there and it's not on the inside now. And that's just because, just personal preference. I like it tidy on the inside so I can fill it with stuff. You know, if I want to fill it with sewing notions and things, it's not going to impede all those things in there. And I like all the shagginess on the outside, okay. So let's get back to how I start these. Now this one, as you can see, I wanted to do an oval one for this one. I'd done quite a few round ones and I wanted to do an oval one for a change. That's where that one's at. And as I mentioned earlier, I haven't finished it, and I will tell you down the track why I haven't when we get to that. So let's start doing the step 1. Choose some fabric. I prefer for these, cotton, just like quilting cotton, okay? I think you can use anything, and what I have used, I might get to that shortly. We'll start with this. I have used other fabrics. I like to try and use quilting cottons primarily because it gives it structure. But I will show you shortly what other fabrics I have picked to do this particular one. Now, I'm going to be really lazy because I'm so tired. And of course, now, this fabric's just a bit too long for my rule. So I'm going to do what we really shouldn't do. I've already folded it in half. And if you've cut fabric before, if you're a quilter, you'd know that it's okay to fold it in half. If you follow your fold line, square it up and cut it. If you fold it a second time, it's really hard to keep it square. But for this instance, because we're going to be, crocheting this in the round, so to say, we're not going to notice if it's a little bit wonky. So I'm going to cheat a bit, so to say, and use this. I don't know how I'm going to go cutting this sitting down. I normally stand up to cut. Now I'm just going to trim the edge first. Oh, this is really difficult doing it sitting down. Crikey. And you'll probably notice I'm not using a proper quilting cutting mat. Oh, I'm going to have to stand up, guys. I'm not cutting through it. I'm not using a proper quilting cutting mat because... Oh, my knees. My very large mat, firstly, wouldn't fit on this bench. And I damaged it a couple of years ago when I was taking it, when I was doing travelling tutoring lessons. Left it in my car in a nearly 50-degree day and warped it. So it doesn't sit flat anymore. And my next size down one, I have used it that much recently that I've cut some big elongated triangles out of it inadvertently. So my favourite width at the moment, my preferred width at the moment is 1 1/4 inch. I just like that. I just like how that works up, gives it enough structure. I found for me 1 1/2 inches just a little bit too bulky, and 1 inch isn't quite enough to get the structure needed. Oh, crying out loud, this blade is, unless I'm just not getting enough leverage. I'm just standing off to the side, guys, so if I'm out of shot, I apologise. Let's try and get this. Okay, so I'm just cutting, as I said, 1 1/4. And, oh man, this picked the wrong cutter. I've got like a jar thing full of cutters, and I just picked the first one, and this blade seems to be cactus. So normally, as you'd probably know, you should line up, your fold line. But I'm just more concerned about, I'm still watching that, but I'm more concerned about this line because, as I mentioned earlier, I'm not too concerned if we get a bit of a wiggle happening. And normally I'm a real perfectionist. Now this cutting mat I'm using is I think it's a Leah Griffiths, more of a scrapbooking mat, so I am a bit concerned that I might completely destroy it using it with this rotary cutter. So I probably don't have to cut all this for this demo, really, do I? We might be here all day because I'm really struggling to cut it. I apologise if you're commenting or chatting, guys. I'm nowhere near the screen while I'm cutting, so I can't see at all. What I was going to say that I thought of earlier, I watched a tutorial with Janelle Wind earlier today. Oh, yesterday actually. Janelle of, what's her page called? Nana Does That, I think, or My Nana Makes That. Oh, geez, I knew it. See, there goes my brain again. It used to be the Janelle Wind collection, but she's rebranded. I'll try and remember to put it in the description later anyway. But Janelle, like, I should know this because I used to teach quilting. I used to work in a quilt shop. But I did learn something from Janelle, and that was when you're cutting, she was explaining that the best way to put pressure on it is with your fingertips like this, which I just found quite good then. But for me, putting the fingertip pressure, that puts a lot of pressure on my finger joints. So I think if I was doing that continuously, I'd get a lot of pain in my finger joints. And the other way she explained was to use the palm of your hand here. But I've sort of got it on this bench. This bench is too high for me. I've got to sort of get on my tippy toes to get the leverage I need. So if the bench was smaller, that's how I did it earlier today, use the palm of my hand. But if I just do it like this, I'm sort of just putting my hand on it with uneven pressure. The ruler tends to walk. Crikey. I'm sweating doing this. Isn't that ridiculous? Having all sorts of weird things happening to me this last week. Okay. Here I was saying I wasn't going to cut all this. Now this one that I'm doing for this demo, I will not finish this. I know have you seen the clamp thing? The handle, I have, Jude, I haven't bought one actually, because the reason I haven't bought one is because I haven't done any quilting for years. But I do have I think I've got about 9 or 10, maybe 13, I did count them a while ago, quilt kits in there, inside, that I'd really love to finish, or start, that I bought when I was working in the shop. And if I'm going to finish them, I'm still undecided whether to hang on to them. I'd really like to. If I'm going to finish them, I think I'll buy one, because this is just it's very hard on the body, isn't it? It brings back, I remember when I was working at the shop now, you know, the hours we used to spend cutting, and you wouldn't think that much of it, but gee, it got hard on the body. If you sat there all day cutting or quilting or running the gamble, the quilting machine, or unpacking orders, you know, you'd get bolts of fabric. I used to sit on the floor to unpack the orders because it was just so taxing. I'd get the boxes and unpack them on the floor. Oh, crikey, that was really rough. Okay, so we've done that whole piece. So I'm just using, as I mentioned earlier, I do prefer the quilting cotton, but it's not necessary. Now, I've actually gone today and picked different fabrics. How can I explain what I'm thinking? This one I noticed I started using batiks or batiks. And I think the reason I started this quite some time ago, I'd say a few years back. The reason I would have started using batiks is because it's hard to tell the back and the front, especially when you're using it in this fashion. You're not going to really notice, you know, if you're using the front or the back of the print being exposed. In saying that, that's part of the charm of these things, whether, you know, this piece I'm using here, this is a vintage seersucker with strawberries. I'm kicking myself now for cutting it up, and I actually cut this up years and years ago, like I'm talking 10 years or more ago, probably even more longer ago than that. Now, these days, I would have absolutely loved that fabric. I don't know if you can see, that would have been a strawberry, and I have ironed it quite heavily. It is a vintage seersucker. Look at that part of that flower. It would have been stunning. Why on earth? I would have hated it. The only reason I would have cut it up, crying out loud, is because I would have hated it. But anyway, so that, if that's vintage seersucker, I imagine it may have most likely been a tablecloth. Most of this is batik, except for this little bit of orange in here, which is just a quilting cotton. This is a vintage, like this is from the, yeah, I'm going to have to look at them, Gina, if I'm going to do more quilting. And one of the things that Janelle was saying on the video I watched is that the height of the table makes a big difference too. So if the table's too high, I think even a regular dining table for some people is going to be too high, and that makes all the difference on how much leverage you can get, which again, like, it's an ergonomics sort of thing, if that makes sense. I'm having trouble getting all my words to come at the moment. This is, this fabric's from a quilt shop that I believe closed in the 90s. This was given to me by an aged care facility. They asked me to sell it for them to raise funds for some things they had to buy. This is a piece that I bought from them, and a lot of it was dated 1994. So I'm assuming that's most likely the year it closed, 94, 95. So this is a piece from that shop. Then I've got these pieces these ones are from, I've got these ones in this one. This is a bit of a sheet, I believe. I can't remember what this one was from. So that's a separate one, that's that first one I was doing. Then I cut these earlier today. I've got these bits. Now this was, here I am saying I prefer quilting cotton, but I want to show you some other things I've used today. This was a pillowcase. So I've just cut it in strips. I've cut it acrossways because I like that. I don't want to get runs of navy, then runs of light blue, and then runs of pink. I'll cut it across that way. And then you end up with, the seams are still here. It's where it was sewn together. So I just snip them off, both ends. My poor old scissors, my vintage scissors need a bit of a clean. Pull out the seam from the centre there, the overlocking bit. And then we've got the pattern strip, and then the backing. That one, this one feels like a poly cotton, the backing. So I've got three or four here that I'll show you again, not that you need to see. I'm sure one is enough. I don't know why I left so many out to do a demo. So I just cut those seams off. I mean, I could have done that first, but I decided it would have been easier, and I think it has been easier to do the strips first and then cut it up. And this is what the pillowcase looked like. And then the back. So I've just cut it. I was actually going to keep these to use for myself because they look like they've never been used, and I've just realised that now that I've cut them up. I'm a silly Billy. So I've just cut it across this way. And I bought these at the op shop last year, and the op shop I go to only charges 50 cents for them. Sorry, I've just knocked your fly in now. Okay, now the next one. This is a bit of, it's a heavier fabric, and I've cut all these this afternoon while there was so much noise outside. I believe it's a spotlight fabric, and it's like a drill, but it's not a heavy drill. It's still, I think it's still going to go okay. It's not that much heavier than the quilting cotton. And it was cut really odd, so I just come along and square up the ends if they need squaring up. Now I don't mind these ends where they've been torn, but I've grouped them all together. Here's the rest of the pillowcase. Here's the back of the pillowcase bits. This is a piece of fabric I got this to put into my, the quilt that Sue designed, the vintage Scrappy quilt. It's not vintage, I get it wrong every time. The one that I've been working on anyway. And I've got a lot of it, so I've stripped a little bit of that. This is another bit of vintage cotton that I've had with some purple roses. This is another bit of vintage cotton that came out of that quilt store from the aged care facility. This bit is from a men's shirt. I quite liked that, so that came from a men's shirt that I bought at the op shop for a couple of bucks. Now I haven't tried this before, don't know if it'll work, but I thought I'd give it a go. This is a bit of lace that was most likely, I think, a curtain at some stage. So I've stripped a bit of that. Now, what I do, and you can see here, I've already done this bit. I join them together and make balls out of them. However, what I've discovered, if I join all the balls together first, I then can't join, I've got to make the holes really big to join each ball to each other. So with this one I was thinking of going light to dark. I don't think it's going to matter really, because if it's not big enough you still want to be able to add to it. What colour can we go first? I feel like I want to put this on the bottom, so you know it's going to be sitting on the bottom so you're not going to see it. So I don't want the pretty ones to be hidden, if that's what... Again, my brain's just switched off, I apologise. I also bought this out. This could also be used. This is some vintage sari silk that someone's over dyed. I love it. I've nearly run out of it. I was using it to wrap orders with. It usually comes in a skein and I've rolled it into a ball, but you could use that as well. You could use anything. So what I do, I get these strips, and look, I used to try and cut them really, really long, but now these ones may be a little bit too short. I'm just squaring off this end. I wish that person would rack off. What's this one, about 15 inches, this piece? It's a little bit too short for my liking. Now what I do, I should have brought a pen out. Is there one in my bag? Of course not. I had one to bring out and I haven't brought it out. I wanted to heat the friction marker because I don't know if this will be easy to see. Now I like quite a bit of a tail to hang out. See this one? That's about an inch. So what I like to do is fold this up. That's what, 2.5 inches. Then I cut into this about half an inch. I might have made that a bit too long, that 2.5 inches. And then put that down, get the next piece, do the same thing, fold it up about 2.5 inches, cut it about, on the fold it's folded there, so I'm cutting it on the fold, try and get it in the centre about 1/2 inch, maybe a little bit more. Now what we do now, that 1/2 inch may not be quite big enough, is we want this piece to lay that way, this second piece we've cut to lay over the top of that, and we want those two cuts to line up like that. Now we want this end, I'm right-handed, so I always get this end on the right-hand side, make sure it's flat, and I sort of bring it under, loop it under, and pull it through this hole, and then pulling it so we want one tail to come out on this side, and it sort of sits on the back of that long tail, and then the other one sits on top of. Now if you're doing it with a print, I'll get to the prints in a minute, I try and get the right side facing the same way all the way through, and then I just continue joining again. And of course the bigger you make this fold, the shorter your length will be. So if you want a longer length, you can make this fold really short. Make sure you don't cut through. You need to leave a bit so your fabric doesn't tear through. But you could potentially cut, you know, fold this 1 inch, cut it up half. So here I've done it really short, so you don't really see that hanging out. So when you crochet it, that pretty much disappears. And you can see I've done it so right sides are both facing out, or up, or on the same way anyway. So I'll just put that aside for a second. With this, it's not going to make any difference because it's pretty well the same. I can't tell with this gingham which is the right side and which is the wrong side. Maybe if I put my glasses on, I'd see a slight variation, but today I can't see. So let's try with this print, shall we? Let's get 2 of these to start with. And again, let's fold it up about 2 inches, 2.5 inches. Let's go 2.5, hey? Snip it in about 1/2 inch. Lay that one down. Now, you're not going to have to physically lay it down like this every time. You will get into a rhythm the more you do. And again, as I mentioned, I like that long tail. I like that look. But you don't have to do it this long. I like the shaggy bits hanging out when it's put together. So we've got one facing that way. The next one comes over the top facing the opposite direction. We line up those 2 slits. It might be a bit easier to see this with the print. We lay this out flat and then loop it around this way. Hopefully that you can see what I've done there. And then pull this end through that loop, through that split, and see how I've got the right side facing the same way as I'm pulling that through. Pull it tight, and then we just neaten up these tails. And there you have it. You've got one tail sitting on top here, and then you've got the other tail sitting underneath in this direction. And then you bring that along and you do the same on this end. Cut in about 1/2 inch. get the next one. You don't have to keep them rolled up like this. I just keep trying to keep them in some kind of order so I don't get a mess everywhere. Again, approximate, like again, you don't have to measure, but I'm just trying to keep it a bit neat, you know. Approximately 2.5 inches. We'll snip in a bit, that's more than 1/2 inch. Lay this open. Lay this one on top. Oops, we're not meeting up. Here we go. I find it easy to stick my finger through it. So when I come back with this piece, it's just easier to find that hole to push it through. Now, I honestly can't remember. I was racking my brain earlier today trying to remember if I had learnt this somewhere, if someone had taught me, or if it's something I had worked out. I do remember originally when I started making these years ago, I used to stitch them together. And then somewhere along the line, I've started doing this. And I honestly cannot remember if I've worked it out, if someone's shown me, if I've seen it somewhere. I honestly don't know. I'm sorry. I've been doing it this way for years. I can't remember. So this is what I do. Go along. When you get all these done, when you get all one, like again, okay, I'm saying when you get all one colour done, you don't have to do all one colour in strips. You can just do this colour, then this colour. You can do whatever colours you want. I like to do them in colour lots, colour blocks. When you get all the one colour done, or when you get, if you're doing it in colour blocks, you then join your next colour on. I don't want to go too far ahead because, as I mentioned earlier, it's too hard to join them if I end up with balls. So I want to go back to this because this is the colour I want to start with. So I'm going to come back. Gee, my neighbours have been noisy lately. Normally it doesn't overly bother me, but lately I've been getting really agitated by it. It's very loud. Okay. So I'm just going to continue. Now, I'd probably advise what I didn't do today. I didn't iron the fabrics first. It's probably a good idea to iron them first because, as you can see, my cuts aren't very neat because I didn't iron them first. The other thing that happened to me today, I'd only gotten through about, I don't know, not even a quarter of the fabrics here, and my iron blew up. It literally blew up. There was sparks and bangs and pops and like far out. A couple of weeks ago it was the kettle, and the kettle actually threw me across the kitchen. I don't know what on earth is going on lately. I think it's this house, to be honest. I can't wait to get out of here. I'm so over it at the moment. So I've thrown the iron away, but now I need to get another iron. I have quite a dilemma with irons. I've spent so much money on them. I've gone through many years ago. A friend of mine used to own the Good Guys at Warners Bay. He owned a franchise. Actually, he's an ex of mine. I used to go out with him. Lovely fellow. But anyway, he sold me an iron many years ago for $10 or $7. It was $7 actually. Now that iron lasted for years. It was one of the best irons I ever had. And then one day it just stopped working. I must have had it for 15 years or more. So then I went out and bought another cheap iron, and it was garbage. It lasted me a couple of weeks. And then I went out and spent a couple of $100 on a really good one. It only lasted me about 3 months. They replaced it. Again, only lasted me about 3 months. So I went out and bought another one for, I think I spent about $170 on the next one. Again, it didn't last long. So I thought I'm just going to buy really cheap ones. So I bought a $10 one off eBay, and they actually sent me 2 for $10. And again, they didn't last long. So I bought a second-hand one, and it was fantastic. But again, it only lasted about, it maybe lasted about 12 months. And then I bought a little travel iron, which wasn't too bad, and it's the one that just blew up. And I just don't know. I don't know what sort of iron to get. I'm ironing nearly every day. I'm ironing linens nearly every day. I don't iron my clothing, but I'm ironing linens nearly every day. And I just don't know what kind of iron to buy. I really don't anymore, because I'm sick of spending money, good money on irons, and they go kaput. Either just inside or just outside the 12. Well, it's usually what I've found. These days it's usually a day or two outside the 12-month warranty, which really grinds my gears. I know we're a throwaway society, and I think that frustrates me even more. Don't know why we don't make things that last anymore. I know it comes down to cost primarily, but man, it bugs me. I like to repair things. I'm one of those people that, keep repairing it, keep fixing it. I could probably get started here, because I'm not going to get all this done while we're sitting here. So let's start, shall we? So I like a nice crochet hook. That one's too big. That one's too small. It's like the porridge, isn't it? That one's about right. So I'm just guessing here. What have we got? 7 mil. Hopefully that one will work. Now, did I do that? I'm not going to do a round one, am I? So let's see how this goes. Now, I do struggle a bit, because I've got really bad pain in my knuckles, in all my knuckles. And that is exactly why these do not get finished. So I've just done a loop, nothing fancy, just like an overhand loop. And I'm going to do a chain stitch. Now I could get a larger hook, but the reason I'm not is because I want this to be fairly firm. I want some structure in this vessel. I don't want it to be all flippy floppy. And if I go up a size, it's not going to have a great deal of structure. And yes, you've probably noticed I don't crochet the way most people do. I was taught by my mother, who has these 3 fingers missing. So she only has a thumb and a pinky. And this pinky has always had a lot of arthritis, and it bends inwards quite a bit. And it's never stopped her doing anything. But for her to crochet, she has to she holds the fabric like this, and then like this. So that's how I learnt to crochet. So that's why I don't crochet the way most people might crochet. Now I've come to a join here which is a little bit, doesn't want to pull through, and I don't particularly want it to pull through because I want those tails to stay out there. That actual join has come through, which is okay, that's fine. It's sort of just come through, but I want those tails to stay out. And then I'm just going to continue. I'm just going to hold those tails out of the way as I continue. And work that next. How many have I got? I haven't been counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What did I do in that one? I'm wanting to make another oval because I think ovals are more practical if you want to use it as a basket on your table or your bench, or if you can use it as a bag or a pouch or something. So let's see if I can see how many I've used here. I've actually done looks like I've started with a magic circle on this one and then changed my mind. So we've got, I haven't got my glasses on, see if I can count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9. Maybe I did 10. So what did I've got there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I actually thought that one could be a little bit wider. 7. This is a bit of a workout, guys. 7, 8. That came through easy. 8. Oh, crikey. 9. 10. Let me see. I'm just checking the comments again, guys, to see if there's any other messages coming through that I've missed. Okay, so now you can see those tails laying in opposite directions again, like they were when we put them together. So I'm just going to move them aside and try and hold them out the back. I might be a bit premature here because, as I mentioned earlier, I like them to stay on the outside of the vessel. Lost count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's do one more for good luck. 13. We need one to turn. 14. I'm just trying to envision the shape. 14. 15. 16. 16. It does get challenging, but if you want to get one done, it's worth it. Now, because that tail is right on that one where I was going to turn, I'm going to do an extra one as a turn-in. Okay, now let's turn. I'm not going to go into that first stitch. I'm going to miss it and go into the next one. And then just, is it crochet? You know what? I never actually really learned the stitches. I'm one of those people that looks at an image or a piece of crochet and just copies it. This is where it gets tricky. One. Working up a sweat, guys. Okay, next. What hole did I work in there? That one. Next hole. Now what I'm going to do now is, you can see so I think I did 16 chain stitch. I did 16 stitches. I turned, missed the first stitch and did a crochet, is it single crochet or crochet stitch into the second stitch. Now I'm going to go into every stitch all the way to the end, and I'm just going to turn and come into the other side and do just spiral all the way around to do the base. But now there's a bit of a formula when you do a circle, a flat circle, and I don't know the formula for an oval. You want it to sit flat. The circle, I think, is 2 stitches, like the first round, 2 stitches in every stitch. The next round is 1 stitch, 2 stitches, 1 stitch, 2 stitches. The first one is 1, the third one is 1 1 2 1 1 2 1 1 2. The next one is 1 1 1 2 1 1 1, I believe, to have a flat circle. I don't know about an oval though. I think the oval would be, you'd stitch straight along the sides and then start your circle around the ends. So I'm going to have to look at that. So I'm just going to keep doing into every stitch. This should be one movement, but because it's so chunky, oh sorry, I don't need to loop that again, that still has to come through there. There we go. Next stitch, over, and then through those 2 like that. Next stitch. So this one here, over, and then it should be one movement through that loop and then through that loop. Came off. Whoops. Lost that. I'll have to try again. What have I done there? Okay, lost that stitch. So over, one move. It's hard to do it as one movement because it's so chunky. Oh, cracky. And this, as I mentioned earlier, is why I didn't finish that other one, because it is so hard on the joints. I'm going to be really regretting this tomorrow. The other thing is, I've broken so many crochet hooks doing this. Yes, I do prefer bamboo, but I have broken, are they aluminium ones? I was quite stunned when I broke one of those. Working up a sweat again, crikey. I should have done a little circle, we might have progressed a bit faster. So what I will do is I will continue joining all the pink. I'll join it all up and I will just go around in a spiral. But as I mentioned, I think it'll be straight stitch, like a single stitch along the sides, but when you get to the end, you're going to have to increase to keep it flat. I don't know if I will do pink, the whole bottom will be pink. I don't know how big I'll do it yet. It's one of those things for me, it's one of those things that I'll see as I go, see what will happen, see what it'll look like. My daughter says something, I can never remember it, but it's something about see what my ancestors speak to me or something like that. I never get it correct. I always like it. I like what she says though. She usually says it in reference to cooking though, because we very rarely measure ingredients when we cook. We just do it. And she tells her fiance that her ancestors are telling her how much to put in. Oh, this poor Hook is under so much stress in trying to get through some of these. Oh, Dooley. What does that Renee say, the wildlife girl? Holy doodle, holy doodle. That's it, holy doodle. Oh, mega crikey, far out. Oh, wowzers. This is tough, guys. Oh, ripped a fingernail. I hate snags on fingernails. Get off there, you rotter. Oh, I wish that car would go away, man. Guess what? I'm gonna have to join some more fabric. Oh, this is a workout. See how it's bending? It will straighten up when I do the other side. Let's look at the other side. Wowzers, those tails are long this time, aren't they? I like that. Imagine doing a jacket, a cardigan or something like that. That'd be cool. There's no way on earth that I would have the energy to do an entire garment. Far out Brussels sprout. I'd be exhausted. I've actually got some cotton that was gifted to me, and it's someone has saved. I don't even know who gave it to me. Someone sent it to my mother to give to me, that I don't even know who they are. It's secret. It's a secret squirrel thing. And this person works for a laundry for the hospital, I believe. And apparently the laundry's tied off with a cotton thread, cotton string. So, you know, the thick cotton, like heavier than Pearl 12, like packing cotton, you know, like twine. I can't remember how to describe it. A heavier cotton. And this person has saved every single bit of this cotton over, I don't know how long, that's been used to pack, to wrap around the top of the laundry. And she has then gone and tied them all together and rolled them into balls. So it's a similar thing. It's the cotton, but there's tails hanging. And she started knitting a cardigan, and it looks stunning, but it's not going to be big enough for me. So I've started to reverse knit it, and I want to knit myself a jumper, I think, and it's going to look amazing. I have to try and remember to bring it out to show you what the bit that she's done and how awesome it's going to look. The band, she's just used a plain cotton, so we don't have the tails hanging. It's just, you know, the fisherman's rib, like a ribbed band out of a plain cotton. It's all a cream, like an off-white. But geez, it looks so cool. I love it. I showed someone recently and they're like, that's horrible. I think it's fantastic. But I will have to remember to show you guys, because I reckon some of you will really love it too. This is going to be interesting, doing this turn. There's a big knobble there. Obviously it's where that tail is. Now I need to do some more joining because I'm nearly out. I wish they'd just go to bed or something. Go and have dinner, guys. They've been out all day. I thought they'd gone inside to have dinner when I came out. Let's do some more joining. I often wonder if my neighbours hear me. I'm sure they think I talk to myself because they all think I'm loopy anyway. So I don't know if it's because, do they think I talk to myself, or is it because I've been too unwell to do my yard and it's all overgrown lately, or is it because I rarely come outside and talk to them? I don't know. I know some of them think I'm an absolute crackpot. Oi. I know one of them was very horrible to me. Well, yeah, for a while. And I was a real mess. And it got the better of me one night, and they came out to speak to me. And all of a sudden, for some reason, they had a completely different attitude. They weren't aggressive, they were quite nice. And we had a lovely chat. And I said to them, so now are you going to stop being such a so-and-so to me? I didn't say it like that. I actually said a horrible word. And they went, oh, yeah, I suppose. And they have. They've been quite nice to me ever since. I mean, we don't talk regularly, but, you know, they say hello now if I see them. And I actually think they brought my garbage in the other day. Someone brought my garbage in, and it wasn't the guy who usually brings it in. I think it might have been the other one. And I haven't had a chance to ask, because when their other half's around, the other half doesn't like me at all, and they get very abusive. So it's just like all the drama. I don't need it, you know. I'm happy just to live in my little space with my big dog. And my bumblebees. I'd like to find the strength to get my garden tidied up again, though. I used to be in my garden every day. I've been that unwell, though, I haven't been able to do it. I thought, like, I usually do really well in summer. I don't handle the cold very well. But this summer has been really humid, and I think I handle the humidity worse than I handle the cold. Oh my goodness, put the car in, put the car out, make up your mind, do one or the other. I don't know if they can't park it where they want it, or if they're testing something, or they go up and down and up and down. How bad is the price of fuel at the moment? Crikey Moses. I went the other day, a couple of days ago. Yesterday, it was yesterday. I got a lift down to the post office to post some parcels. And I said to the driver, let me put $10 in, because that's all I had. I didn't even actually have that, but let me put $10 in. You know, $10 used to do you for a few days at least. I put $10 in, and $10 gave us 3.8 litres of fuel. Well, I started laughing at the thought of 3.8 litres of fuel in the tank of the car. The fuel light had already come on, right? And the car had started, like, it was dire, you know, like, as you already know, you shouldn't be driving with the fuel light on. You shouldn't let it get that low. So And I'd already thought through the week the car had dirty fuel in it because, you know, there were signs of dirty fuel. So I was a bit concerned. But anyway, I thought to myself, I reckon that fuel light won't even go off with that much fuel. So I got in the car, put the ignition on, started the car up. The fuel light didn't budge. Well, that was it. I got the giggles so bad, I couldn't drive. I was laughing so hard at the thought of $10 giving us 3.8 litres and the fuel light didn't go off. And we only had to go to the next suburb and drop me and Willow off, and then go to the next suburb over again where the driver, the owner of the vehicle, was going to get more fuel. Someone was going to gift him more fuel. And I just kept thinking, I don't even know if that 3.8 litres is going to go that far. It wasn't far. I reckon it would be maximum. Let me think. Yeah, 5, maybe 10 Ks max, I reckon. No, it might not even be that far. But I got the giggles so bad. 3.8 litres, far out. Did the fuel get this high before? When it got really high last time? I can't remember it getting this expensive. It probably did. No, I don't think it did. I remember when I was working, it got up to $1.87 or something, and I thought that was bad. It used to cost me, my car that I've still got that's off the road, that's been off the road for quite some years now, it had a long range fuel tank. I think it's got a 70 litre tank in it, which is a long range fuel tank for a little sports car. And I think at the time it used to cost me about $120 to fill it, and that was huge at the time. My poor son rang me through the week. He's got a diesel. He said, Mum, it cost me $229 to fill the car up. I'm like, far out, man. That's crazy. That's insane. He's got to fill it up to get to work. I'm sure we're all the same, hey? Hopefully. Well, there you go. This shit should work instantly. I hope you guys can hear me. I'm trying to not speak too loudly, because if I can hear them, they can hear me. It might be nearly time to wind up, hey? I was going to point out too, because notice how crooked this piece of fabric is? That's because I didn't iron it, and it was folded. It was folded like that. And I cut it. So it, I can smell fuel. I can't remember what I was saying now. I haven't quite joined all the pink together yet. Mustn't be too many strips left. Oh, I was excited this morning to notice. I think I've spoken before. On my D-Stash page on Instagram, I've not been able to do live videos. And when I looked it up, you had to have a minimum of 500 followers to be able to do that. Now, I don't have that many followers, but this morning, or last night, might have been last night, I had a look. Don't know why it came up. I had a look to see, just to have a look what options I had. And I can do live videos now. I don't have that many followers though, so tomorrow, maybe, I might be able to do a live video to show you some new linens I've got coming up. I'm going out with my dad tomorrow, I think. I might have to ring and check with him and make sure that's still on, because he hasn't given me a time. tell you what, my hips don't like this stool at the moment. You've probably noticed the sun's going down. It's starting to get dark. There's still more light out here than there is inside with my lights on. Oh, I thought it was the last strip of pink. It's not. There's still, what, 1, 2, 3, there's still another 4 to go. 3 to go. 4 to go. I can hear that bee again. I've had blue banded bees here before too, but I haven't seen them for ages. I haven't got my my flowers out this year either. I normally try to plant pollinators, you know, flowers for the pollinators, and I haven't done them. My garden's a mess at the moment. I'm so ashamed of it. It used to be, 12 months ago, it was immaculate. It was beautiful. It was full of food and flowers, and it was neat and tidy. It's not at the moment. That's a bit messy, isn't it? Tidy that up a bit. I don't think I made that any better then. It's still got that funny little kink in it. I think some of these tails are getting a bit long, aren't they? When you cut your slit, it doesn't matter how long you make it, because when you pull them together, they're going to sit right up against this edge here. And when you crochet it together, that's going to be all crumpled up anyway, so you're not going to see it. You just want to make it big enough so you can thread them through each other, really. And leave enough, you know, it's going to depend on how much fabric you want to leave here for your tails. Sometimes those, when you pull the pieces through, sometimes those tails get stuck, and I've been trying to get them stuck so I can show you how to unstuck them, and it hasn't happened. This is the last piece of pink. Let's see if I can get this one stuck. Okay, now I've got this one stuck. See how that one's stuck in there and you've only got one hanging out? So what I do is sort of loosen it up a bit, pull it out, and then you've got to sort of, it's gone out the wrong side, of course. What have I done? Now I've really got, okay, that one's going the right way. This piece is straight, we don't want it straight, it's got to go. Might have to undo it because I can't work out. That's got to go back through there. There we go. I don't know if I actually showed you what to do then. The straight piece had to go back through the loop. I don't know if that even makes sense, to be honest. So that's all. Oh, it's not all the damn pink. Look, I've still got bits attached to the... Man, thought we were done. There's another one. Two. Three. Sorry, I've just pulled this in closer to my body because it's head in to lean forward. Okay, still going, guys. Where's the end of it now? Here we go. I'm tired. How about you? My eyes aren't tired, my body is. Who's still there? I can see there's quite a few of you still there. Who's still there? Give me a hoi or something. Oh, crikey. Oh, the bee's back again. That must be a little jack, you know, on wheels. I'm assuming that's what it sounds like to me. Since they've had cars out. It may be a gurney because they've been doing some pressure washing. But I reckon it might be a jack. What do you reckon? I can't see. Can't see for the trees. More like shrubs actually. It's a Maria in the way, a big, very big Maria now. I have a pair of noisy miners that usually nest in my Maria every year. They must be nearly due. Was it due? No, it's more towards September actually. I think August, September. Oh, I can't remember. I'll have to look it up. I feel like they must be due to arrive soon. Feels like they haven't been for a while. Okay, that's all the pink. It's more of a dusty pink really, isn't it? Okay. We need to do another turn shortly. Actually, I probably didn't start with a magic leap on the last one. It's probably just me doing the turn. Because oh man. Because we've got to keep stitching into that same hole to turn the corner. And of course there's a big knot there where we started, so that's going to be a bit of a challenge. Listen to those lorikeets. They're noisy buggers, aren't they? At least we don't have the cockatoos and the corellas out screeching today as well. We've had a lot of ravens lately, like big, what are they called? It's not a murder of ravens, it's something I thought was quite, it made me chuckle a bit. It's I'm not going to get this right, but it's something like a no thanks of ravens. It's not that, it's what's the collective noun for ravens? Oh, I can't remember now. I have to look it up. Well, we've had a lot of them anyway, which I've never noticed that many of them here before. And I think from the research I've done recently that it may have been a funeral that they were attending. That's a long tail. The other thing too, if the tails are too long, you could always trim them back if you don't like how long they are. Someone's cooking something nice all of a sudden. I think I'm going to have a fennel and ducker salad for dinner, if my stomach will tolerate it. Well, that didn't take as many to turn as I thought. There's only 3 in there, I think. Normally takes a lot more than that. I think we can go into the next stitch. Maybe just because it's so chunky. Oh, what a workout. Okay. Yeah, maybe I should have done another one in there because it's wanting to roll up a bit already. Let's back out and see if I can get another one in that end stitch, hey? I'd prefer to have one too many, I think, than... I don't know if I'm going to get one in there really though. It's a bit different than using yarn. See, I can't. I don't think I'm going to get that through. Oh, no. Oh, come on. Oh. Maybe just. I've got a lot of tails gathering at that junction though. Holy man, alive my knuckles. I think that's sitting better. It's not curling in like it was before. Let's go into the next one. There you go, there's one of those ravens. There he goes. I love them, they're fascinating. I think they're fascinating. With their fancy beards and their ice blue eyes and their very smart behaviours. Okay, next one. I'm thinking now I may have made these tails too long because this is getting challenging. I think it'll look good though. It might be difficult for it to sit flat on the table though with all those tails if I wanted to use it as a basket. Oh man. I don't think you'd be wanting to do this if you had arthritis. I think too, some of the other fabrics aren't going to be as challenging to pull through. This one feels quite, I don't think this men's shirt one, it's like a poly cotton. It's not as chunky. I don't think, and it feels slippery. I think it's going to be a lot easier to pull through than this one. This one's quite thick actually. Oh, crikey. So, what I will do with this is just keep going around in a spiral for the base. Now what's going on here? See that? We got a dog leg happening. Let's have a look. See that there? I think it's just because that knot's there. I don't think I've missed a stitch, or have I? Have I missed one there? Maybe we should go back, undo this. I think I have missed one. Maybe I should try and go in there. Try and straighten that out a bit. I don't think I'm going to be able to pull that through though. Oh, there we go. Is it going to actually make a difference though? I think I can smell aniseed. I can smell someone cooking meat, but I can smell aniseed. Or it might even be fennel. I don't think that's actually made any difference. We might just have to live with it being wonky. I can't even get that in that next stitch now. Oh man alive. Okay, take a deep breath. There we go. Look at that. I don't normally wrench my hook like this when I'm doing crochet with yarn, but I need the leverage to get through this fabric. So I might leave it here, guys, because it's really painful. It hurts, and we've been here for a while, but I think I've shown you the basics. If you want me to come and show you more, if you want me to do the base and show you how I start to come up the sides, let me know. Let me know in the comments, and I'll come back and do another one. I don't particularly want to do any more because it really hurts my joints, but if you guys want to see more, I'm happy to do more to show you how to finish the base and work upwards, or how I do it at least anyway. Again, as I mentioned, I honestly can't remember if I've been taught this technique or if it's something I've worked out myself. I've been doing it for years. As I mentioned, I used to stitch the fabrics together, and then somewhere along the line I changed to doing this join where the tails hang out. I actually think, I've got a feeling it was somewhere I'd seen someone join plastic bags like that, and I decided it might work with fabric. So anyway, I'm going to stop here because, as I mentioned, I'm in a silly amount of pain. I know I will not finish this because it's just too hard, too taxing on my body, but I will, if you want, let me know. If you want, I will come back and show you how I finish the base and come up the sides. And then I'll probably list it on my de-stash page because I'm not going to finish it. I know I'm not going to finish this one. So if anyone wants to add them to their stash, this isn't a huge one. It'll probably be Originally I thought it would be a bag, a tote bag. It's not huge. I mean, it still could be. It's not huge. It's probably more suited to a basket on your workbench, I'd say. But it's currently listed, so I can't remember what I've got on it. I think it's on sale actually, on special, on my D-Stash page on Instagram. But I'm going to say good night, guys. Thank you so very much for joining me. I know it's been a long time between videos again, and I do apologise. I've just been flat chat, which sounds ridiculous for someone that doesn't work, doesn't it? Between doing the linens and all the appointments and trying to get the house into some order, it's just been crazy. But anyway, as I said, if you'd like me to show you more another day after my body's had a rest, it's a workout doing this. You know, if you've got joint issues, it's a workout. Let me warn you now before you decide to get into it. It may make a difference if you're, like I'm leaning over, so I'm under the camera, and I'm on a stool, not a chair, and this bench is high. It's higher than a table, so it's not very ergonomic. So it may be easier if you're sitting better. It may be a lot easier on the body. And I'm actually leaning over the top of my knees. I've got my feet nearly directly under my knees, so they're tucked under me. So I've got a lot of pressure on, pushing on my knees and on my ankles. So there's a lot of, you know, a lot of pressure on there as well. And it hurts. So I'm imagining if you're sitting up properly in a chair, or if you've got your feet up, it won't be as taxing on the body, okay? But doing it this way, the way I'm doing it for the camera, it's hard. It's hard. But if it's something that interests you, have a go. It's something that I've used to do a lot of, and I do have some baskets around the house here and there with things in them. I've given a lot away over the years. It's a good way to get rid of bits and pieces of fabrics. And as I showed you earlier, I've used pillowcases, I've used men's shirts. I've used tablecloths, I've used sheets, you can use nearly anything really. I've showed you I cut up some lace. I don't know if it will work. I assume it came in a packet of vintage fabrics, just off-cut fabrics. I assume it was a curtain, the way it looked. I don't know if it will work, but I'm going to give it a go, I reckon. I reckon it might look interesting. So, you know, think outside the square if this is something you want to have a go of. I'm just looking around to see if there's something. You know what you might be able to make one out of? You'd have to cut it really fine though. I don't know if it would work. I'm wondering whether you could use a vintage wool blanket. You might have to felt it first before you cut the strips, and you'd have to cut the strips a lot thinner than a 1 1/4 inch. Essentially, if you quilted it and cut them like 1/2 inch, you'd be essentially making a yarn, wouldn't you? But that might be an option. I mean, in all reality, you could probably even use shopping bags, you know, the woolly shopping bags. You could use anything. There's a lot of plastic that we throw away, you know, like I'm looking at a packet of crackers that I have here on the table, the plastic that gets thrown away, the soft plastic. Potentially you could strip that and use something like that. I wonder if I could give that a go. There's so many things I'd like to have a go of. There's just too many things, isn't there? But anyway, I do this every time, don't I? Ramble on, try and sign off, try to say goodbye, and then I go on and on and on and on. But I'm going. It's time I've got to go and ring Dad, find out what time tomorrow, and I've got to go and get dinner on because I haven't eaten all day. And so I'm going to go, guys. But thanks again. Thank you so much for joining me. Let me know, please, if you'd like to see me do the base and work up the sides, okay? But until then, I'll see you next time. Be safe.